Hello, here we are, Swansea Ufo Nightvic on the road.
That's Mike Maunder.
And that's Emily Williams.
Yeah. Now, everybody's heard about the 19th of January, 1983, Night of the Triangles. Well, I'm assuming you've heard about it. You've heard about it, haven't you?
I've heard about it, yes.
We've done a few videos on Swansea Ufo Network about the Night of the Triangles, videoing various witnesses over the years.
We've got about 10 witnesses, and we've done a 3.5-hour podcast all about all the other witnesses as well.
Yeah. But in this video, we're going to be interviewing William Miners, who back in 1986, was 3 years after Night of the Triangles, was one of the witnesses to another Night of the Triangles. They came back to Swansea. Many witnesses around the Swansea area saw these huge triangles. Mr. Miners had just finished work at the Guildhall, and he'd returned home to Duns Lane in Mumbles when he saw a big black triangle in the early evening of March the 17th, 1986. The other Night of the Triangles. So we're going to go and visit William Miners now, and he's going to tell us all about it.
Well, as I said to you, that this was in the winter, around 5:30 in the evening. I'd just finished work and driven home along the Mumbles road, and when I got to my house in Duns Lane,
In Mumbles?
Pardon?
In Mumbles.
In Mumbles, Duns Lane in Mumbles, yeah. I turned up past the church on the main road at the bottom, but opposite Boots Chemist, and parked in my front garden. You know, there was space there. But as I was pulling in, I could see two men standing. I thought they were waiting for me, you know, for some reason. And they were pointing up though, and they had to get out of my way to park the car. So that was when I got out of the car and locked the door, they were still there and still looking up and pointing and talking to each other. So I started looking over their heads to see what they were pointing at. And what I could see straight away was, although it was getting dark by then, is that I could see a light, a red light in the sky. Now there's nothing unusual about that, because planes come in to land at Fairwood Aerodrome along that path, you know, that's very close by there to where the runway is.
Yeah.
But anyway, then I saw a second red light a long way away, distance-wise, and realised, you know, they couldn't be connected to each other. They would be immense. You know, be like, I don't know, a couple of 100 feet long, whatever it was. And then, you know, as you would do, you've seen two red lights, which are obviously you could make those into a straight line from wherever you were. But then I saw a third light, and they were almost exactly in a triangle. I never heard at that stage of anything unusual like we have since, especially the Belgian experience.
Belgian wave.
Yeah, they were you know, they was practically taking us all the time. And they
How far up Duns Lane were you? So?
About 50 yards.
And we were on the left or the right going up?
On the right going up.
On the right going up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the small cottages. They were fishermen.
And it's a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little bit up the hill compared to Mumbles Road, isn't it?
It is a bit up the hill.
So
not much.
You could see the sea from there, can you? Just about.
You could, yeah. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say you could see the sea. You could see the sea wall. I'm talking about then, you see.
Yeah.
Because Oystermouth Square has changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
Since.
So what direction was these three lights moving?
Straight up there.
Well, they were straight over you, were they?
They were straight over me, perhaps 20 yards in front.
And was it moving?
very slowly. That was the strangest thing of all.
Yeah.
I was looking at a set of lights that was going so slowly in the direction of Gower,
Right.
as to, you know, that is when your mind starts going.
So it was going west.
Yes, it was going west, in the direction of the southern part of
So
Gower.
it's the same direction as Duns Lane runs east-west, isn't it?
Yeah, more or less. But you know, all one was doing then was just trying to think, what could this be? The first thing you do is to look for a rational explanation of what it could be.
Yeah.
But there were so many odd things about it as you couldn't really. I thought of, could it be air tankers? You know.
Refuelling.
Yeah, refueling.
So what sort of altitude do you think it could have been?
Say it again.
What sort of altitude do you think? How high up
It's
is it?
very difficult to tell because, you know, unless you know some the distances, that there had to be some sort of reference for you in what you were seeing, and it was just too dark. It was getting considerably dark.
What time did you finish work?
5:30.
And how long does the journey take?
So this was 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah,
So it's about,
quarter of an hour maybe.
so it's about 5:45 then.
Yeah.
And it was just getting dark, or
Yeah.
was it dark?
Well, it was dusk.
Could you see the shape of the object then?
No, no, you could anything. You could there. You were not seeing the stars, or whether you would have anyway. I don't know. But in between these lights, you would expect to see stars.
Yeah, if it was dark. Yeah.
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 But I can't recall, and I remember thinking about
Was
that.
it starry? Was it a clear sky?
It was a clear sky.
Right.
Yeah.
So it should have been stars.
Silent.
It was
That's
silent.
another- yeah, no, not a sound. You
Yeah.
know, only the thing. You know, people walking past and that.
How? I know you can't really guess the height of it, but how big do you think it was? Did you have an impression of it being low or very, very, very high, like an airliner?
Very airline height.
Airliner height.
Yeah,
So
20,000, 30,000 feet.
you used to seeing the size of an airliner at that height. How big was this? If you could hold something at arm's
it
length.
would have been immense if
Yeah.
it had been an airliner height. You
A
know,
lot bigger than an airliner.
oh, huge, yeah. I mean, it would be. It's a job to say, but I never saw one. But I'd have been thinking if I had seen one in the past, it would have been the size of a Zeppelin.
Right.
It would have been huge compared, you know,
Or football
we've all
field size,
seen
isn't it? Football field?
the pictures of
A lot of people compare them to football field in
Or
size.
double
Do
deckers.
they? Alright, well,
And I can see from your books you're into football, so you know the
see,
size of a football field, eh?
Well, I do know the size of a football field, but it was just in an awkward place to judge the.
Were there any flashing lights on it?
No flashing them. These were permanently red. Now I know that aircraft lights flash. You know, when you see a plane, you would have seen a plane landing at Fairwood along that sort of line, roughly.
Yeah. But not that height, though.
But no. But all I'm saying is, I'd be used to seeing occasional red lights flashing. I mean, you only get small planes landing at Fairwood now. But in 1986, that airline.
I was going to ask you about the date. Are you sure it was 86?
I'm pretty certain. I
Yeah.
may have it somewhere. You know, I sent a letter to the chap in Penarth who was asking me all about it. I'd mentioned that to you.
Yeah, I can't think who that
a long time
was.
ago. you know who he was or no?
Not
I know-
Penarth.
I know back then Swansea Airport was quite a busy airport because I flew from Swansea Airport to Jersey, and
Yeah.
then 6 weeks later I flew back from Jersey back to Swansea Airport
Right.
as a kid, you know.
Yeah.
So I remember the time they had lots of planes, night, day.
Yeah. But
Well, I think at the time this happened, that chap from Swansea had bought the airline and he had a licence
Oh,
to
yeah,
run.
Air Wales.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's the name. I
Yeah.
couldn't remember the name.
But it couldn't have been anything coming into Swansea Airport, because it was, from your description, it was too high.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've never heard it because it would have been a lot lower down.
Yeah.
Well, the red lights weren't flashing even, so
Mm.
you know what I mean.
'Cause I can remember when you told me about this before, and you said it was 86.
Yeah.
I was wondering whether it might have been on the 17th of March, it was multiple sightings, a bit like the night of the triangles that we call it, 19th of January 83. It was another sort of night of the triangles in 86.
Oh.
It sounds like it's this time of year due to
Yeah,
5, 6 o'clock.
yeah, that was
it's dark.
March. It was just getting
Well-
dark then.
I'm trying to remember the date.
But if you think it was the winter,
It's definitely winter.
yeah.
I had a coat on. You know.
Can you remember what car you had? 'Cause
Eh?
can you remember what car you had at the time?
What car I had?
Yeah, because
No.
people tend to remember cars, how long they had the car for.
Yeah, but I've had a lot of
It helps set something in the date then.
I used to change my car August the 1st every year.
Oh, right.
I used to have a
Well, that's quite handy then. Can you remember what car it was that you had that night?
Well, no, because I was only able to do it with silo motors. They promised me. Oh, I put in the stomach. It's like an
That's why I
ad.
can edit this
It's an
bit
ad.
out.
It's
No, just thinking
an
out.
ad.
Put yourself in the scene now. You were driving up the road, there were two guys there looking up. They had
Yeah.
to move out of your way to when they parked. And you parked. Can you remember the car? Because if we changed the car every year, that would set this. We'd know what year
Yes,
it was.
well, but I was going to say though that I was only able to do that from 1970 until about 1983.
Mm-hmm.
So that you know.
All right. But obviously you had a car after that, didn't you?
Yes. But I knew the owner of Cyber
Hello,
Motors.
William. That's your cup of tea.
Oh,
With
right.
no sugar.
Okay,
Ready to
thanks
cheer
very
for
much.
you.
If you put it on there for the
Yeah,
camera.
ready to cheer for you. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
What I was going to say is that I knew the owner of Cyber Motors because he was connected with the Swans, Dave Savage, you know that name, Tom? No.
It ain't rings a bell.
I'm not into football.
He,
There's a guy painting that.
Oh, he was.
Right, we'll edit that little bit out anyway, but
Yeah.
alright, okay.
big cut there.
All I was going to say is I wouldn't know the number. For what reason would you want to know what car it was?
Well, I was just wondering because it might help you remember what year it was if you can remember the car.
Oh, well, I remember, but I got the letter. You know, the
Or the letter to
for
this fella in Penarth.
the last one. I see. Right, yeah. Well,
Who was that then in Penarth? I can't remember his name.
right? No.
He could have been a Bufora investigator.
I wondered if it was Lionel from
He was,
up
you
that
know,
way.
he wasn't
Thank
just
you.
an ordinary guy, because I remember picking. Somebody must have given him my phone number. Who was
I wonder if
that?
it was Bill Rich in Llandock
Yeah.
or Llandow near Cowbridge.
That's what I think. It
Llandow
seems
Castle.
before as well, wasn't
Well,
it?
that's very close to the sort of area he was living in.
Yeah, very
It
little
was south, south, that part of south, what they call South Glamorgan in those
Yeah,
days.
the very little Morgan.
Yeah,
That
very, very little.
There was a guy called Bill Rich at that time. He was an investigator for Bufora,
Oh, was he?
and he lived in Llandow or Llandock or whatever you
Right,
pronounce it.
yeah.
Introduce
Well,
Near
I-
Cowbridge.
I can't remember his name.
But what made you think it was 86 anyway?
Because I looked all this up when you were talking about speaking to me about a year ago.
Yeah.
And it was filed in the file.
Just as a follow-up from William's interview, we've come down to Mumbles after our radio show recording on the way back now. So to have a look where he lived. Now he would have come from that direction and turned in. This is Dunn's Lane, and he lived, I've checked my notes from a few years ago, and he actually lived at number 12, which is just up here on the right. This is the terrace of houses. 6. Oh, 12. Here we are. There's number 12. So this is his drive. This is where he saw those two people, those two men looking up. He pulled in and he got up and he had a look. Should we have a quick look?
Yeah.
Have a look. So they won't me parking here just for a minute. So that's the view we had. So he's here and he's in that direction, so he's going over that way, west.
Yes, in a way, it's over Blackpillish way, because you're in the middle of Mumbles now. It wasn't overhead; it was off
Heading west. So
heading west. So
which is that way.
and
Okay.
Blackpill's
Come back
only
in. I got something to show you.
Blackpill's only about a quarter of a mile away, I suppose.
In the Ufo flights, here's the Evening Post that he was referring to. Yeah. Now, at the time, it was put down to aircraft refueling in the sky.
Which they're not allowed to do over land.
Yeah. It's a bit like the Night of the Triangles that was put down as an example, but this is 18th of March, 86, Tuesday. So it'll be in the Monday when he had the sighting.
Yeah, there's specific
And-
areas you could do refueling. One of them is off Cornwall, but it's out to sea.
And another thing I've established from my old notes, which I completely forgot about, is that the Penarth person he referred to as Mike Walker.
Ah, yes.
So he sent the details to Mike Walker in Penarth. I'm just covering his address up there. 86. Don't even know if he's still alive. I don't know anything about the guy. So
That's true.
be interesting to find out who he was.
Yes.
And he might have lots of other information on sightings in South Wales.
Well, yes, exactly, yes.
So
The name we haven't heard of before, so that's an interesting...
So there we are. We've met the witness. We've gone to the location where he was back in 1986, and adds a little bit more colour to the story.
Yes, well, you can